Today on the Point Blank Performance YouTube channel, we're back with Fletcher's first gen L5P Duramax. Last time you saw this truck, it was on the Mustang dyno kicking ass, and it was powered by our D3 HP package. Check out that video here. And we told you the truck would be back getting our stage 1 low pressure install. Now the big picture is this: is it really worth the investment? PointBlankPerformance.com, our stage 1 low pressure fuel system for the 11 through 16 LML Duramax. Then, like the truck we're doing today, the first gen L5P 17 through 19. Now don't get it confused, because we did drop a video on the 20 plus L5P of our billet fast bracket mounting to the Fass pump and our stage 1 low pressure system. Check out that video here. Now today's big picture is this: is this really worth the investment? Because we're ready to get to the dyno, we need to make power, we're ready to get fueled up, but we got to get the bracket onto the pump, and that's what we're showing you today. You can see I don't have a lot of hand tools. We're going to build some confidence and get this bracket installed onto the frame. What basic hand tools do we need? We only need 6 of them to get started for the LML Duramax install and the 17 to 19 L5P. Starting with the first tool, what is it? A 3/8 ratchet. Then we move on to our 1/4 ratchet. You can pick these up anywhere, right? Lowe's, Home Depot, Harbor Freight, helping you guys out. This guy right here is our deep socket. It's a 15 millimeter and it's for my 3/8 ratchet. All of our bolts, all of the hardware are standard, are American. So that's where this comes into play. This is an Allen wrench. This guy is a 5/16. Perfect, we're gonna need one of them. Now moving on to this little guy, 3/16. This is for my 1/4 ratchet. Now moving on to the open end wrench, 9/16. And of course, if you only have an adjustable one, totally fine. As long as you can get down to 9/16, we are good to go. In your billet fast bracket, as it shows up from UPS, guess what? All the hardware, and you cannot mess this up because the holes are only as big as for the bolt. You've got 5 bolts, 2 washers, 2 nuts. Now we're ready to get our billet fast bracket onto the Fass. First thing we want to do is grab our fast bracket and turn it over. We want to be looking at the H port on the back side. See these 3 mounting holes? Perfect. That is where our billet fast bracket is going to attach. Simply take it, put it over those 3 mounting holes, grab the only 3 small Allens. They will drop down in the hole. This is where we're going to need to grab our 3/16 Allen we bought from good old Harbor Freight. Go ahead, start locking these bad boys down. Super simple. Go ahead and start them all. That way we don't cross thread anything. Grab your 1/4 inch ratchet, and we're going to do a final torque. This is the part of the bracket installed onto our Fass pump before we go to the frame and mount it. You guys have just torqued your billet fast bracket to the Fass pump. We got to figure out where we're going to mount this, right? Because it's a bolt-on solution. Where do we put it? Directly in front of your factory fuel tank, and you look up and see your fuel filter there. It's got to come down. Now, if you're wondering this, yes, you've seen us do these on the ground just like the last video. This truck, we've got it up in the air to make it easier on you and I. Now, step 1, what is it? Because there's 3 simple steps. You need to reach up in between the fuel line and the fuel filter. Up on top, you're going to feel a connector. Pinch down on the back of the connector, you'll feel a tab. Once it releases, you can use your other hand, reach over, and simply push it off the water and fuel separator sensor. Push it over to the side. Step 1's been done. We removed the electrical connector from the fuel filter housing. Now we've got to get our tabs removed from the connector from the outside. Now keep in mind, we're going to undo these tabs. Do not pull the connector off the fuel filter housing or you will be bathed in diesel fuel. First one up, it's got a green tab on it. We're going to grab the tab with our thumbs, push it over to the drive shaft. As we do that, push straight up. That tab is now disengaged and ready to be disconnected. Don't disconnect it yet. Walk over here, to the frame side, you're going to look for the blue connector tab. Simply grab it, take your thumbs, pinch it towards the fuel tank. So pinch it towards the fuel tank and press up. Let me do that. Press up. All right, now our lines are ready to be removed from what we call the nipple. You're going to want to grab a trash can or something to grab all the fuel that's about to come out. Here we go, boys. I'm going to reach up, be gentle with it, wiggle it back and forth. As you wiggle it back and forth, we now have fuel. There's one. Walk over here to this side, wiggle it back and forth. Watch your elbow. As step 2 is now complete, we've got fuel draining into the bucket. We're ready for step 3. Grab your 3/8 ratchet with the 15mm sockets. There's 3 mounting nuts with studs on the back side of this fuel filter housing. You don't have to take the nut completely off, but let's loosen it up. A couple of turns. Make sure you do the first one, do the second one, and then the third one's up top. This will allow us to slide it out of the slip joint that it's in and get this bad boy done so we can get our bracket underway. And now that we've got it loosened up, we're ready to remove the fuel filter housing. So to finish out step 3, we need to successfully get this fuel filter into the bucket without taking a bath with diesel fuel, right? So we got our 15mm loosened up. We're going to grab the fuel filter housing, we're going to move it towards the drive shaft, and we're going to pull it out. Now you will run into an issue, right? You're going to see it's a really tight tolerance to get these studs all the way out and this fuel filter drop. You're going to fight with it, you're going to drag it over the drive shaft. Don't do that. You can grab a bonus tool that I failed to mention at the beginning. It's a 13mm. You can use it in a 3/8 or you can use it in your quarter. Look up top, you're going to see there's 2 bolts that actually hold this dude on. Just go up because you can get right to it. Loosen those 2 13mm. Once they're loose, take your wrench over to the side, reach back up. Let's get these dudes all the way off. And when they do, this will disconnect it, so that way we can just drop it out of there. So there's one nut gone. Reach over here to the other side. Pull this dude out. This is our factory fuel filter housing removed from the truck. This is the bracket that it was on. For a better visual, I want you guys to see. This bracket simply slides up in there, and these are the 2 bolts that I just removed, the 13mm. You're going to remove them as it's in the truck. Once they're removed, slide the fuel filter up, and she just drops down. Take the bracket off, make for sure you grab the other little piece to the bracket that's up there hiding up top. Now let's get our Fass pump mounted to the factory frame. We're down to the last pieces of hardware to complete our Fass bracket installation. We've got 2 Allen heads, 2 washers, and 2 nuts. Where do they go? The only 2 locations that they possibly can go in the front of the bracket. You'll see the bolts go through. You'll see them go through here, and guess what? There's 2 mounting slots that we just removed the factory fuel filter from, and that's exactly where this dude's gonna go. Let's get this Fass bracket mounted, boys. Now let's get this bracket mounted to the frame. The same existing holes as we used from the factory fuel filter housing. Line it up, grab the first Allen head, feed it through the front of the bracket. I'll slide the bracket to the frame so that way it's sitting there holding itself. I'll slide one of the washers on. I'll put one of the nuts on. Tighten it up. That way it's not going to fall down and hit anybody, right? I'll go to the inside and I'll put the other Allen in. Put my hand on the front side. I'll grab the washer, the other nut. Boys, we're almost done. We got to torque it down. We're going to grab the 5/16 Allen and we're going to grab the 9/16 Allen. Sit there, torque it down. Once you get it good and tight, snug it in. Go to the other side, tighten it up, snug it in. And our installation of the billet Fass bracket on the LML Duramax 11 through 16 and the 17 to 19 L5P is now done. You guys have just successfully installed your Billet Fass bracket onto your new Fass Fuel Pump. Perfect. And we ain't got this installation completed just yet. No sir, we gotta come back with our stage 1 low pressure fuel system. So we told you guys when you first seen it, yes, we're gonna dyno it, we're gonna put the Billet Fass bracket, you've done that today. Then the next video, we're installing our stage 1 low pressure system, the big Pac-Man sump, the 1/2-inch hoses, everything good for 1,000 horsepower, right? We're not shooting for 1,000 horsepower. We just made 607. We're adding a product to the truck with our stage 1 system, and we're going to battle with the Mustang dyno. We get the better filtration out of the system. It's exactly what it should do. Same horsepower we're asking out of it, we're going to the dyno, and guess what? Will it make more power? This is where you want to like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, because if you're an LML owner, you're an L5P owner, there's only one way to figure out if Uncle Tyson is full of shit and doing the stage 1 kit. Like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time here at Point Blank Performance.